Screwdrivers. Why did it have to be screwdrivers? Damn. There is basically two styles of screwdrivers. That is your Phillips and your standard screwdrivers. Let's go ahead and take a look at each of these. As we can see here, the Phillips is a plus sign or a cross or an X. The standard screwdriver, also known as the flathead, is literally a flat, thin screwdriver that has a slot or to fit into slots. Now, each of these screwdrivers have variations within their own categories. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Phillips screwdriver. There are several different types. This Phillips screwdrivers are classified into sizes, not by the length, but by the head size. We have all the way down to a 00 that would be used to fix your glasses, up to a 6 that could be used on high voltage lines. But typically what you would find in your home would be a number 2 screwdriver, just like the pencil. Let's go ahead and take a look at the different sizes of the screwdrivers. Here's a number 2 typical screwdriver. Here's a number 1 screwdriver. This would be a number 4. And you can see the bluntness of the tip. Whereas on this number 1, it is really pointed. And it gets blunt more and more higher the number it goes. So let's look at the various fasteners that would be used with them. This drywall screw, which would be typically a number 2, which would fit the Phillips head in there and gives you full contact to give you high torque to tighten the bolts or fasteners. As you can see, this number 4 would not fit very well. But let's take an example of this tiny screw. This would fit the number 1 really well, and it fits in there really closely. Let's take a really close look at this. As you can see here how small the head is in my fingers. So a number 2 or a number 4, which I have on my desk, wouldn't fit very well, as you can see here. The number 2 can fit in, but it's not going deep enough into the screw to give you full contact. Whereas if I were to take the number 1 screwdriver, you will see that it will fit in more tightly and will give you better torque to remove the screws. Screwdrivers also are classified by the length, whereas this is called a stubby, which can get you into a smaller section and still be able to handle it. It is also a number 2 screwdriver. This is a right angle screwdriver. It can get you into even tighter areas, being that there is no handle directly straight from the head. You can also find screwdriver bits for drills and impact guns. Now let us look at standard screwdrivers, or known as flatheads. There's various types and sizes just like the Phillips. Let's take a closer look. As you can see here, this one is flared at the front, and this one is narrow, which then provides ability to get into smaller areas because it does not flare out. Screwdrivers, in regards to standards, are sorted so that the head or the tip will fit into it better. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. Standard screws and fasteners have a different width in the head, as you can see in this one. So then if I were to use this tiny screw, you can see how much movement there is prior to actually applying torque, which can then strip the head of the screw. But if I were to use a thicker head, such as this number 2 standard screwdriver, it will fill the slot more and provide more torque. We have looked over the various types of screwdrivers. There is some other very unique abilities that screwdrivers can do. Let's go ahead and look at this Husky screwdriver, which is a lot like this Craftsman. And if you notice, the handles are not round like the other screwdrivers that we have here, such as this one. Well, why does it have this shape? Well, if you take a large wrench, it will be able to fit over the handle, which will provide more torque to be able to loosen or tighten a fastener. Sometimes you don't have a large wrench laying around. So like this smaller screwdriver, it has a hex built into the shaft that I can use a smaller wrench with it, as you can see here. We can use the boxed end of the wrench to give more torque as you try to remove the various fasteners. Once again, thank you for joining me on this wonderful lesson on screwdrivers. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.